Hi, this is Lauren from LSP Actions and welcome to the video tutorial for the LSP Santa's Tree Farm Truck digital background shot by Anna Brandt. This is a multi-layered digital background, meaning you need to open it up into Photoshop. When you open up into Photoshop, you'll see a multitude of layers in your Layers panel. If you can't see the Layers panel, come up here to Window and choose Layers. Over here you have the trees extra inside. Then above this you have the truck inside, so if you turn this one off you can see the trees, so you might want to have this truck more as a flatbed. These layers allow you to completely create your own scene. Above this you have the truck seats. You can turn these on or off if you're using an image with your own seats in there. You can turn that one on or off. And then you have your subject inside the truck. This is where you place and mask your subject. Your subject may appear in the empty box here, in which case great, or it may appear above it, which is also fine. And then above this we have Santa. You can click in the little eye icon here to turn him on, and you can hit V on your keyboard and you can move him depending on which side of the road you tend to drive on, where you want Santa in that truck. You can move him about. It's super cool. So I've left him free floating for you. And above this you have your subject shadows, so these will add shadowing to the subject, but you can turn this on or off if you wanted to. We have the centre of the truck window above this that you can also turn off. So if you would prefer not to have that window centre there, having Santa in the middle for example, you can turn that on or off. And then we have this little festive truck background above it. This needs to stay exactly where it is. Without that everything looks a bit wrong. If you want to place your subjects next to the truck or sitting in front of it, for example, this is where you position them here. And that means they will appear outside of the truck, because all these layers are nested and sandwiched together. So it's about where you place the subject. Place your subject here to have them sitting in the truck with Santa. Place the subject here to have them outside of the truck. And then we have a snow layer here that you can turn on or off to add snow to the scene. So let's get started. I'm just going to show you how to add a subject inside of the truck, because the same method appears with adding a subject outside. If you have somebody standing here, for example, somebody even sitting on the front of it, you add them here to this layer. To add them inside is a tiny little bit more complex, so I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. Make sure you've selected the Your Subject Inside the Truck layer here, this orange one here, before you add your subject. You can either find your subject by coming up here to File and choose Place Embedded, or you can drag and drop the image onto the scene. So I'm just going to drag and drop this in. The beauty of the lighting in this image means you can drag a studio or an outdoor image in. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing is the lighting. I'm just going to turn the truck window off for now. So I've added these two in here. And we also have a seat behind them naturally anyway, so I'm going to just leave that seat in there. Now you can see they're a lot cooler and darker than the original digital, so I'm going to show you how you can edit that. But first of all, let's mask these subjects in. If it hasn't landed in the Your Subject blank box here, that's fine. If it's above it, that's fine. It will work just as well. Come down and click the little icon, the rectangle with a circle in the middle, and that will add a layer mask. If it's landed in here, there's already a layer mask, so that's fine, you don't need to do that. But if it's landed here separately, you can manually add a layer mask. And you can have these two in front, your subjects in front of Santa or behind. You can turn Santa on or off if you wanted to. So on your subject, click on the white layer mask box, grab a brush, set to black, and I'd set it to a medium height, depends how in focus the shot is. Generally a mid, about 80% hardness. You may want to go even harder. And you can start painting away this background. Now these subjects here were shot outdoors in a festive scene, but you can use a studio image just as well. Just make sure the lighting is nice and neutral. So I'm just zooming in and editing. I'm going to keep that chair in there. The snow off for a minute. So that's fine. The chair actually works really well, I think. Now looking at it, adding it in. But if you wanted to paint the chair, the background away, you can do that. But I'm just painting away this background because whatever makes the digital easier and faster, the better. There are many ways to select your subjects in Photoshop. You can use the subject selection tool. I do go through that in other digital background tutorials. You can use the LSP Digital Background Assistant Photoshop actions, which of course they're mainly aimed towards baby editing, baby composites, but they work for all digital backgrounds and they help you blend your subject. They will also help you when it comes to the toning and adding shadows and things like that. Those actions are really good when it comes to things like that. So if you're not very fast at compositing, if it takes you a long time, if you're unsure of anything, I really do recommend grabbing the LSP Digital Background composite actions, because they kind of do most of it for you. And it also comes with a digital magazine. It comes with an e-guide of how to use all digital backgrounds, not just LSP, all the best practices in there for fast and quick digital background editing. So I do really recommend getting those. So I just got rid of some of the background there. I'm just painting in some of this chair. And there they are in with Santa. And you can Control or Command T to resize this at any point if you wanted to, if you needed to make them look a little bit smaller, a little bit bigger. And you can remove Santa completely if you would prefer to do that. It depends if you've got lots of subjects in, or if you've just got one little subject or one little kid or something like that. It does look a little bit lonely in this truck if you've just got one subject in there. So if you didn't want to use Santa, then I recommend adding a few subjects in if you can. So I'm just masking this off, although Santa really will be covering that area, so he doesn't, you know, he'll be hiding that area, so I can just turn him on, and that's cool. If you wanted to add them in front of Santa, you just need to mask off around him, and if you're savvy, you can just click him and use that for masking really quick if you know some more advanced options in Photoshop. But if not, just do what I did. Add the layer mask, a little bit like a lottery scratch card. Black means hide and white means show. Now I'm just going to warm them up a little bit here. So I'm going to come down to the adjustment layer. If you're using these actions, adding the editing layers and blend the colours, we'll do all that for you. But let's go for manual for now, assuming you don't have the actions. Come down to the little icon here. It's a little semicircle, two-tone circle. And to warm them up a little bit, I think I'm going to add, first add a little bit of vibrance. Right click and choose Create Clipping Mask, and that will clip it onto your subject. And that means you don't have to paint this off anywhere else of your image. I'm also going to add a colour balance layer here. And let's go into the highlights and just add a little bit of warmth. You probably want a purpley yellowy warmth for these images to match this digital. And you might also want to play with the brightness a little bit too. Santa's toning will give it away as well when it comes to editing your subjects. But the settings I'm popping in now will be completely different for your image. So this isn't an editing tutorial as such. It really depends on your own white balance, your own lighting settings. There are so many variables here. So I've just added that in just to kind of warm them up a little bit there. You also may want to take the contrast down just a touch. I'm just adding a levels layer in to do that, but this is all just, like I said, unique to your image. I'm going to add selective colour and choose whites and just bring those whites down a little bit too. Control or Command I to mask off. Again, this is not something you have to do. This is just something I'm doing just to kind of get this image matching a little bit with Santa there. If you don't have Santa in, matching the image is not so much of an issue because you can resize, you can have them in your subjects in wherever you want them to show. So this is really just if you were matching in with Santa. Just use your eye, add adjustment layers, mask them off if needed, and keep going until you're happy. a little bit there. Or step forwards. It's entirely up to you what you do with this. So that's how to add a subject inside the truck, and you can play with Santa, you can turn him on or off, you can add the middle bar, perhaps you've got a couple of family members. It also works great if you've done two separate shots that you want to add in. Control or Command T, you can change the size of the subjects inside the truck, and you can see wherever you move them they will remain inside the truck, because I've already masked all of that for you. We've taken down the central T-bar out of the way, just literally turning on or off to suit. And if you wanted to completely erase the background, a handy trick in Creative Cloud is to hit W and use the Select Subject option. This isn't available on the earlier versions of Photoshop. Sometimes it's terrible, but quite often Photoshop is very good at making a detailed subject selection. Hit the layer mask again, select Inverse, and you can paint away the background completely. And that's handy if you just want your subjects, and you can position them on the seat, the little seat that's already in there, the truck seats. And let's pop Santa in there too. And we can position these subjects in front of Santa. You've just got to drag them up above him. Or if it's easier, you can add Santa below. And there we go. So many things you can do with this digital background. And this is available at www.lsp-actions.com. And again, play with the layers, do what you want. So enjoy this, enjoy the creative freedom that comes with this digital. A little bit of a learning curve, but I've done pretty much all of the masking for you to make it 10 times easier. I'm Lauren, thanks for watching.